Hello, I'm Rob, the Dungeon Tutor. I'm Rob, the Dungeon Tutor.
Rob, the Dungeon Tutor.
I'm the Dungeon Tutor.
And I'm Rob, the Dungeon Tutor. Thanks for joining me.
Hello, friends. I am Rob, the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome to another episode of, well, Dungeon Tutor. But this is going to be an RPGaDay review. On my other channel, Lair of Omnisci, I've been doing one of these a day. And it's interesting to tackle these questions as they've been given me and answer, and hope that they are viewed by somebody who takes what I say to heart and kind of goes, oh, that guy had experiences like I had, or gosh, I wish I had experiences like that. I wonder what really drove him into the directions he's gone in. So I think it's generally a good thing, and I hope that it reaches people that need this kind of maybe a nudge to look into role-playing games or to see how they've improved somebody's life. So we're given 31 questions. In my first video I did 1 through 20, which if I don't concentrate on elaborating too much is not too terrible. So we're going to do 21 to 30 now, because I don't have the upload-download time to do the single video on each. If you want to see my fuller version, you can go to my Lair of Omnisci channel and check out playlist RPGaDay 2022, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. Of course, if you are seeing this before the month is out, I will only go so far, but these should cover the rest of them. So, starting at number 21, which is Setting Sunday. Share an intriguing detail from a genre setting or game setting that you enjoy. An intriguing detail. I always think that cities in games or cultural centers for different systems, like a singular planet, for instance, in a sci-fi game, but in this particular case, it's one of those things that I want to see and really see how the world assumes people can live given the conventions of the game. So for instance, in Waterdeep, in the Forgotten Realms of Dungeons & Dragons, you've got powerful magics, you've got horrible monsters. How do people survive when a person can just wave their hand and throw out a fireball that can kill people? We know today that people can set up explosives and do terroristic acts without having to belong to some demon cult or have actual devils trying to get people to do horrible things to other people. How does this all work out? And we know that it works because of the benevolent intervention of both the divine and also from these adventurers who are trying to keep everything they just need everything to work out. They're trying to keep civilization civil. Also, in something like Star Wars, knowing that there's if there's a place that's a confluence of where the players can meet with other elements of that civilization, that society in the galactic scale. So I love, for instance, say a neutral space station where people from all over, you can have some Imperials that are there, but because they're not in Imperial space, they have to calm down. Different aliens, different regimes and stuff, and see how they interact. Those are kind of my things that I enjoy in almost any game. So the big cities, the big cultural, that's the kind of thing I really do favor. So. And also I find those are interesting to just be a part of the world and be an exciting place that you can do all kinds of things and enjoy feeling like you're in that universe for a little while. 22. Who is your current character? I am not... It's kind of a tough question. I'm only playing in one role-playing game, realistically. I have a character in a couple of RPGaDay games, which are Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, but they're just going through a module, and neither of them are at that exemplary of a moment. The characters aren't that much that I'm not much into them. They're a playing piece in these particular games at this point. I go there for the camaraderie and the humor. I'm playing a solo RPG at the moment, honestly. That's probably my best character I can think of. That character his name is Ankylius the Shaker. And the game is called Colossal, and I'm going to be putting up a video for that if I haven't already. Colossal is a solo RPG, and it's basically what comes down to writing prompts and exercises. So I'm telling the story of Ankylius, who is a hound. He has magical stones in a helm that he took from a giant monster called a rook, a moving castle that nobody knows where they come from. They just have magical powers based on stones that are inside their body. If you can kill them, you get all the building materials of their entirely stone body, which are incorporated into a lot of things in the civilization of that world. And importantly for me, since my character has a resonance with these rook stones, I can use those and get basically magical powers, seemingly. So that's my current character. Ankylius is very brave. He has no sense of humor. Those were determined randomly from the creation. And he is very powerful in a fight, but not the most observant explorer. So I think his story will be an interesting one. And I just follow the prompts and keep writing more and more in my journal. So I will share that on this channel as an introductory to solo RPGs for those of you who are interested. And yeah, we'll do more as we go. But that's my answer to that. And 23, what situation is your character currently in? I just started playing, really. My character is just now moving out from his home city of Graham. And he had one encounter under his belt, a rival knight who is basically testing him to see if he has the fortitude to go out on his quest to leave behind being just an initiate, being just an somebody who is ascending to be a full knight, a full adult in the group. And this person is a rival, and as it turns out, his own mother, Ankylius's mother, is actually throwing him in as a test for her son, because she's pretty hardcore. So we'll see how that goes. So far, he wins. I mean, Ankylius is pretty much of a beast. He ends up just smacking him with the massive hammer that is his knightly weapon. When this guy is expecting him to try to use his magical powers to detonate things, instead he just clubs him. Because Ankylius was not known as being the most amazing fighter, although competent. Well, in this case, he's competent enough to just smack a guy with a hammer. So that's where he currently is. He's getting ready to go off in his great quest, which is to find out more lore about the Rooks and take one down, possibly. If he can do that, then he'll be able to come back and be awarded as a full knight, which then will cause me to have to change my motivation, because that's his current motivation. But as a knight in the knightly order of Rookfall, that's what he's doing. And he's not yet at a point where he has enough experience about the world around him to really draw on his own occurrences and knowledge and go in a direction of his choosing. He wants to fulfill his mission as quickly as possible, and may learn otherwise that maybe there's other better things out there too. 24. When did you start playing this character? About 5 weeks ago. I was jonesing so badly to play a game rather than running all the time. I just desperately needed to play a game. And while I kind of got sated a little bit with playing those Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games, a little, not enough, not even close. So I found that this is a good sideline and a direction for my creative talents to go. It's not as satisfying. It really is budget role-playing game light. I create everything, so I'm not playing off anybody else's ideas, and the encounters are random. I mean, the prompts are random. What I do with them is up to me, but still, it's underwhelming. So I'm still desperately hoping I can get in on a real role-playing game at some point. And yes, I know there are plenty of them out there available online, but I really don't like the online platforms. There's too much separating me from other people. I just can't get over that divide. That's on me, though. And if I get any more desperate, I will probably end up jumping into a rando our Roll20 game. So we'll see. I'll let you know how that goes if I end up doing that. Where has that character been? Not very far. Poor Achilles has only come from his hometown of Graham, and that's it. So there's not a lot else for him yet. But I do intend to have some interesting encounters and take him all over the place. So we will see. But he's very young and just starting out. And that's basically all my characters at this point. I mean, I could regale you with stories of the last character that I played, who was a dwarven wizard playing in the Tyranny of Dragons storyline, which we got all the way through, and that was extremely gratifying. But no, it's a ways in the past now. All right. Why does your character do what they do? And again, I'm just going to go with my current character, with Ankylius. Why does he do what he do? Because he's ordered to. He is brave and will unflinchingly face any kind of danger. And the rooks can be 70-foot-tall tower monsters with huge smashing arms and magical powers, and he'll stand up and punch one in the nose if he can. But why does he do what he do? Right now, he does it because it's what's expected of him. Later on, as he develops, and I do plan on developing that character out, he'll come up with his own motivations. But it's not going to be because he's afraid of things. It's going to be because he sees himself as having this power and ability that most people don't have and trying to do something with it. Generally a good, decent person. So that's why, that's his motivation. And I like to believe that I left so much open in his background, I'm going to be filling that in with details of what happened to him to shape him that way in time. But we'll see how that goes. How has the character changed is number 27, and again, that's not really a fair question. My characters are yet in their infancy. Ankh has maybe gotten a little bit more determined now that he's had to fight a fellow knight. He didn't kill him, by the way. He sent him back to Graham. But how has he changed? He's just gotten more determined. So, not really a good question there. But I'm a game master. You know, could I describe any of the journeys that my GM NPCs have been through? I could, but I don't feel that's fair. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to answer that as for poor Ankylius. So, he hasn't changed very much, but I have every bit of hope that he will. Question 28. Style Sunday. Roll a number, tag that many friends with your favorite RPG cover art. Crap. Okay, well, I'm not prepared for that one. Well, if you haven't seen the Shadowrun, and if I can think of it, I will try to get a copy of the cover of Shadowrun and post it here in this video. I love that art. It drew me into the entire world of Shadowrun. Just the cover art from the first edition set, which they used also for the second edition, if I remember right. It almost perfectly encapsulated the different experiences and progressions that you have from the core elements of the game, all in one image, that drew me in and made me want to play it. So it is probably still my absolutely favorite. It's a classic. And yes, I can point to that and say it's my favorite. I love so many different cover arts. I think all the ones for the 5th edition, not the alternate covers, which I hate. I don't care about the alternate art, and I only have one to differentiate it from mine versus my wife's books. But I keep the basic covers of all of those books because I think those artists are amazing, and I think those are works of art. But there's something to be said for the classics, too, where maybe the art wasn't quite the same quality level, but it still feels in a different way, just something fine and special and different. So, okay, so we're there. 29. Who would you like to see take part in RPG-A-Day? Did Matt Mercer do it? If he didn't do it, he should, because he could reach more people. That's basically it. I mean, that's what I'd like to see, is as many people as possible experience the good things that are in RPG-A-Day. If he's got the broadest range, God bless. You should do it. I'd love to see people like, Vin Diesel, who totes himself as a gamer. Yeah. I think somebody like Stephen Colbert could tell some amazing stories. So that would have been great. There's a lot. Anybody who's got a big enough platform and has interesting stories should do it. I think would be cool. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying it would be awesome. 30. What should RPGaDay do for its 10th anniversary next year? My first instinct was to say do a remix, go through and cherry pick out the best ones and use that, but I don't think so. Okay, what I would like to see as far as formatting is I would like to see it a raid like a dungeon. Room by room by room by room by room, which would be cool, but it would be too big for a banner. That's the problem. But I would like to see that with a key for all of the questions. The key would be what the question is for each room. That would be awesome. Because what I would do with that, totally, this is what I would do. I would not, emphasis, I would not go 1, 2, 3, 4. I would explore the dungeon and do them in order of my character walking along through the different halls. That would be so cool. And I'm going to bring that up. I'm actually going to post that on the 30th day. I'm going to post that to RPGaDay and see that. That's what I'd love to see. So, and 31, the last one, when did you first take part in RPGaDay? I said that already. Those were the first videos that I posted onto YouTube back in August 1st, 2016. Started my very first RPGaDay and have done it ever since. I'm sometimes late. Sometimes I take different directions than the prompts, but I have participated for the last 6 years. So that's an easy one for me to answer. So that's simple fact. Anecdote alternative. Roll, tag that many people and tell a gaming story about them. This is a bonus. I'll pitch this one in. This is where I learned an important lesson. So I'm with my first AD&D group, right? And we're playing Ravenloft. And our group makeup is a fairly large group. We had a lot of players. I was playing a lawful good cleric because that was the character they handed to me because they needed a healer. We had a magic user. We had a samurai because we were using Oriental Adventures 2. This person who was playing the samurai is special because he loved samurai. He also loved vampires. And we were playing in I-8 Ravenloft. Yeah, Ravenloft. And we had 2 ninjas who were keeping on the down low because samurai would kill them if you found out they were ninjas. But they were still using shuriken and humming bulb arrows and stuff like that, so okay. We had a ranger. I think we had a secondary ranger and a secondary fighter. And the magic user was the alternate for the second DM. The primary DM, when he was playing instead of running, was playing as a cavalier. So we're at the gates of Ravenloft there, and we were talking amongst each other, nothing too serious. I said something that absolutely rankled the samurai's player. So he instructed his samurai to draw and fire at me. I'm playing the cleric. I can't fire back and wouldn't because I'm lawful good and I don't believe in attacking members of the party. But as soon as he shot at me, he got hit by 2 shuriken, a volley of arrows, a magic missile, was knocked from his thing by, I can't remember what knocked him off his horse, but he just got nuked by everybody else in the party. And when he's looking up, the magic user takes his horse and goes so he can look down at him and goes, "Don't attack the healer. Ever." Lesson that stayed with me. I didn't do anything, but all of a sudden the whole party had my back. Why? Because I'd healed all of them at some point or another and saved the lives of a couple of them. So I didn't have a lot of offensive ability. I was basically a heal bot because I didn't know any better at the time. But I really did learn that's one of the golden rules. You keep the healer alive no matter what, and attacking him is like attacking yourself. I also kind of learned in that same way that a good healer does not have to offensively affect a battle. The party is your weapon. They are the extension of you because you enable them. You empower them. You allow them to fight and not fear injury as much because you can cure them. You can bring them back from the brink. And eventually you can get powerful enough where you can bring them back from the dead. So they should fight even harder for you and alongside of you. That's a pretty important lesson that I learned. And it's a totally true story from the gaming table. So I hope you've enjoyed that. This has been RPG A Day 2022. Interesting game, plenty of ups and downs throughout all my gaming history. But it's nice to be able to relive some of these for you, and hopefully, again, you're inspired, you're entertained, something like that. Which is certainly our hope and our intention for RPG A Day. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments. Feel free to go to the Dungeon Tutor Facebook group. Leave a commenter there. I look there and respond if you would do so. But if any comments you leave might make a video for you or something like that. So I encourage you to do such. But until then, my friends, thank you for joining me. RPG A Day is a time I look forward to every year. It lets me make these great videos and put out some content that I hope people really do enjoy and can get a hold of. So until next time, my friends, thank you and farewell.